Welcome, one and all. Welcome, one for all for one. We are all here. Another weekend of fantastic football. And this is your Footy Fantasy podcast. And we are here with Chucky, the Daily Mank. And we are here with myself, Ola. Both of us are brethren, trying to console each other with the massive defeats we've received over this weekend. Starting off April, we are not resurrecting our season so far in the league, but we're here to talk football, and it's not just going to be about Liverpool and Man City. We're going to have Chelsea talk. We're going to have talk about the new owners rules brought into the Premier League. We're going to talk about Kudos and Donkey of the week also towards the end of the program of the podcast. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Chooks. And we probably just head straight into the first big game from the weekend, the one that kicked us off after the international break. Man City versus Liverpool. That was another installment of the saga of Man City Liverpool. It was the fourth time both teams were meeting this season. Liverpool won the first two games. Then City knocked Liverpool out of the League Cup. And then this was the fourth game of the season between both teams. And the fourth game of the season ended up with City putting 4 goals past Liverpool. Incredible game by City. As a Liverpool fan, I didn't go into that with much confidence, and I'll say why. Also, we're welcoming Asher onto the podcast now. Asher is a Chelsea fan. I think this is his first time on the pod, and I think Asher will get you on when we start talking about the Chelsea game. So I'm just talking about the City-Liverpool game. Number one, the reason why I wasn't confident, Liverpool have always had problems with these 12:30 kickoffs. This season has been terrible for 12:30. I think we've played 12:30 kickoffs maybe 6 times and drawn only 1 and maybe lost all the other 5. And even at the best of times, I think it's a psychological thing because Klopp doesn't like half 12 kickoffs, and I think maybe that permeates to the players because our 12:30 kickoff record is awful. We don't win often during those kickoff times. So it's like the worst combination: the 12:30 kickoff, and then it's away to City, where we don't often win either. We just usually draw there or get beat. But all said, Liverpool played well in the first half. We did well. We competed, scored the first goal. I was like, eventually that goal turned out to be an April Fool's prank because it was just like misleading, very misleading goal. We're like, oh, we scored. We're probably going to get a point from this game. But no, City came back. Fantastic equalizer, Alvarez. They didn't miss Haaland. I probably would have preferred if Haaland played counterintuitively because the 3 times he's played against us this season, it's not really cost us much problems. I think against Liverpool, he scored only 1 goal in 3 games. So I probably would have preferred if he played, but they looked more fluid. They cost us more problems. And second half, they just scored straight from kickoff. Almost like 46 minutes, they were 2-1 ahead, and that was it. Like Liverpool just gave up. We're not coming back from this. And before you know it, they made it 3-1. They played a very good game. I don't think there's much to say because I didn't expect much from that game. My focus was on Chelsea and Arsenal because City away is always going to be tough for Liverpool. At the moment, okay. I can see breaking news. I hope this breaking news is true. I'm hearing Graham Potter has been sacked. Are you hearing similar, Chicky?
I'm just checking it right now.
Okay. I just saw that on my phone now. Somebody sent it in the WhatsApp group. So if that's breaking news, it would be great to hear from Asha. I don't know. It still seems to be mute and it's not. Let's see. But
I'm looking at the club's official statement. And yes, from Chelsea's website, Potter has departed the club.
Oh, no. Asha, can you hear us? I'm sure you're in a celebratory mood. You just came on at the right time. Let us hear you. Let's hear you.
I'm just looking it up right now, and I'm like, oh, what?
Wow, incredible timing. Go for it, brother. Let us hear you. We just have to address this first. We'll leave the Man City talk for now. Man City Liverpool. Let's hear you, brother.
Listen, well, I guess it's bad, when someone loses their job, right?
Yeah, well,
it's bad.
The compensation is going to be
Sometimes.
huge, though.
Well, we don't know how much. It could be 10 million. It could be what 30 million. That's what the numbers I've heard.
Okay.
But I think he already knew what was going to happen. I don't know if you guys watched the game yesterday.
Okay.
But when I was looking at his demeanor on the pitch, anytime the cameras caught him off guard, he didn't show any reaction. He was just kind of like just standing there, just thinking, you know. But when he knew the cameras were on him and the big screen, he was trying to do something. And I think that has been his general demeanor at Chelsea. And I don't know if that's how he is in general.
I think he's a laid back guy. I think he's probably laid back, but yeah. But what do you think? Do you think it's justified? Do you think this is a sacking way too late, or is it too early? They should just have given him the rest of the season. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's too late. Because we play Liverpool on Tuesday. We play Real Madrid on next Tuesday. And then who do we play next Saturday? I don't know. Who do we play next Saturday? We play. I'm looking at the football calendar.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you're playing Madrid, then this is probably a good time to sack a manager and maybe get a manager bounce. Manager bounce again.
As Ash is looking stuff up, I like to say like I'm overjoyed with what's going on at Chelsea.
Whoa, we don't play on Saturday. Okay,
basically, more than any club other than Real Madrid, I'm thinking they've legitimized the philosophy of not giving managers time. They never got blowback for it, right? It's never come back to bite Chelsea. I'm so sad. It's so satisfying to see it. For once coming back to bite Chelsea.
The haters are happy.
But it's not hating.
The haters are happy.
It's really at the core of how do you legislate the game and how you. Yeah. So, for example, Arsenal on the other fringe of it, right?
Yeah.
We've been hearing all month that Bowley and the Chelsea board are totally backing Potter, regardless.
Yeah,
like that's the guy that they did due diligence before they selected him. Yeah. They fired Tuchel, who's at Bayern right now, right? So they're backing their decision based on the data they have, based on the conviction they had, and just to turn around. I mean, this is really sleazy stuff right here, right? Right? Because Arsenal had the same situation for 2 seasons in a row where they had Arteta.
No. Everyone keeps saying that. That is not true.
Okay, go ahead.
If you look at Potter's stats, and you look at Arteta's stats, they are not the same.
Oh no, I'm not saying that stats are the same.
They're not the same.
No, I'm not saying that stats are the same. So, for example, like the current manager of Manchester United, whether he gets time or not, that the future will tell. But he's like a big disciple of you get a coach, give them time to build their product and prove their project. Yeah. If it doesn't work at the end of the season, fire, move on. Right? So and I think it's generally proven out that that's probably the most sustainable way to go. But Chelsea and Real Madrid are masters. I'm giving you guys kudos. Masters.
No, I think it's commendable.
Of getting great results from chaos.
Well, see, the difference is that we put in a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're putting a lot of money, you need to get your reward back. Mm-hmm. Look at the Glazers. The Glazers were taking out more money than they'll put it in. The same with Liverpool. They're putting in more money. They're taking out more money than they put it in. Liverpool's midfield right now it's maybe 2 years worse than Chelsea's midfield.
Mm-hmm.
And Man U's midfield, you have Casemiro, who's 30-something. McTominay is not that good. Fred is not that good.
It's fine. And being 30 is not like a dead pill. I mean,
but he can move.
Casemiro is one of the players of the season, man.
He's one of the players of the season. But how many games is he going to have a 30-game season every year?
No point taking. He needs a backup. No, you're right. United is under construction. It's like kind of like a unique case where this is the first project under a manager, and he will have to build that midfield up over multiple windows. Casemiro can't be the only person. It just can't. It's just not sustainable, right?
But you look at Chelsea, we have Zakaria, who's 20-something.
Okay.
You have Chukwuemeka, who's 20-something. You have Mount, who's 20-something. You have Gallagher, who's 20-something. You have Kante is the only one who just hitting 30.
Mm-hmm.
Who else do we have? Enzo is 20-something. Enzo is one of the best midfielders in the world. He's 20-something.
That's what they tell us.
Oh, I mean, he's
sorry, you counted Mason Mount. He's heading off. He's heading off. Is he not?
No, but he might stay. Now, I don't think
he might stay now. That's
he might stay now.
Okay.
Who else am I forgetting? There's another midfielder who's 20-something.
You guys have a young team, and you have players on loan that.
Yeah. So why would we
stockpiling for years and years that we don't even know, right? You have young on top, young. You're good. Your age profile is wonderful.
So why would you give a manager 5 years like Liverpool, like Solskjaer or who did you guys have before?
Arteta.
No. Who did you guys have before?
Solskjaer.
Yeah.
Was Mourinho?
No. Or even David Moyes or.
Oh yeah.
Van Gaal. Why would you give them 5 years?
Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, Solskjaer, Ragnick. Then now we have ET.
Why would you give those guys 5 years of Enzo's prime years when you can be winning trophies?
I totally get it. I totally get it. There's a balance in football between hard. I was just talking to Allah before the lights came on, right? There's a balance in football between winning hardware, filling your trophy cabinet to make everybody happy and show tangible results of your efforts, versus making sure you're just in the game.
Yeah.
Like you're just in the game, like that 1 to 4, number 1 to 4, you're there, you're competing, even if you don't win anything, right?
Yeah.
There's a balance there, right? Yeah. And I think Chelsea have look, it's a shot, but it's also like kudos to you guys. Chelsea they've figured this puzzle out, right? No other club has had the manager carousel that Chelsea have had, and the results behind you. I'm talking about results, like tangible results, like Champions League, right?
Yeah,
you guys do better than anybody else.
You have the experience. Look at look at our past managers' caliber. Like you guys can't even compare that.
Yeah, but the thing, Asher, while I know you're presenting your view as maybe a good portion of the Chelsea fan base will probably think like you do. But we also have the Chelsea fans who don't like this, turnaround, this churn of manager after manager after manager. We have people, I know in our Facebook group who don't like, who even thought, in my opinion, I thought some of them were even writing off the trophies you guys have won. Chelsea fans who are disparaging your trophies, look at Man City. Man City are the standard. I was like, yeah, but you guys are winning. You're winning trophies. Okay, you're not winning it the way Man City are winning it. But the number of trophies Chelsea have won over the years, it's true. You sack a lot of managers, but I think we can call it a successful approach. So, in your opinion, is it this Bowley now has sacked 2 managers within a year? Is that it's sacked 2 managers? Yeah. So, do you think Are you agreeing with the other Chelsea fans who are saying this is not sustainable? Or do you think if you're getting a new manager now, if he's messing up my next season, he should be fired again next season? Is that the approach you think Chelsea should keep taking?
Well, so I'll say this, right? Everyone wanted Carlo Ancelotti to stay.
Okay.
You won't find a Chelsea fan who didn't like Carlo. Mourinho's second term, he kind of basically that was on him. Conte, everyone knows Conte.
Everyone knows Conte.
Everyone knows Conte. We were never going to stick with Rafa after he took.
True.
We were never going to stick with Rafa. AVB, he kind of burned bridges on himself. He came in and benched Terry, Lampard, Drogba, ACN. He basically benched, the core of that 2012 Champions League group. That wasn't going to fly. Who else? Who else am I forgetting? Scolari. I don't know what happened to Scolari. Scolari was like, I thought he would stay, but then after a while, he
couldn't handle the pressure. I think. Yeah,
I don't know what his deal was. I don't know. I don't even know where he is right now.
But Asher, I mean, if you look at the way some people, and it's very simplistic, I don't really agree with it, but it's fine. I guess it's easier. It makes for easier discussion. If your club is player power or manager power, like who has the most power? Chelsea looks like it's mostly player power. If the players don't like the manager, manager's out. Like,
well, I think he used to be that, but this is on Bowley. This is totally on Bowley, 100%.
Yeah,
this is totally on Bowley because Tuchel.
Wait, hold on. Before you said the next thing you want to say, let me ask you this very pointedly. You think Bowley sacked Tuchel over the players wanting Tuchel to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you look at the reaction of after Tuchel left, we only had a 5-game bounce or 5 or 6 game bounce, and that was it.
Yeah.
You came in,
correct.
And he came in. He played Uber for 2-3 games. There was one game when Potter came. I made this comment on the page. I don't know if you can find it. He came in and he played Christensen as a wing back, and I was like,
"What?
What are you doing?" Like, and then there was
Ryan Sterling as a wing back,
and then he subbed Sterling on as a wing back in that same game, and I was like, I was like, okay, who's this guy? Like,
that's his selling point. Isn't he like an up and coming? I won't say young because he's not young. He's an up and coming innovative coach. That's innovative coaching.
No, Sterling has 0. I don't think there's any player on this. Even Pep doesn't even play Sterling as a center midfielder. Yeah. Sterling is always a forward. He's as far as Sterling is nowhere close to the defense. But you came once as a wing back, and I was like,
I think he played him wing back like 2 or 3 times, not just even once. It was not once. Yeah, it was like a few times.
And then even this past game, the new guy Noni was playing wing back.
I think he had too many players. But I want to back up your point because I don't think Tuchel was sacked based on player power. Because even according to all reports, like even some journalists who claim to be in the know, like the players supported him all the way through to the end. Like, it was just a clash with managing upwards with Bowley. It was a clash of personalities. That's why Tuchel went, and I think it has proved to be a bad decision because
I think that's apparent with Tuchel. I mean, just again, it's this kind of his MO. The same thing happened to PSG, happened to Dortmund. It's really just not anything on the field, more of how the relationship with and the admin side of things, which is unfortunate because I think he gets a lot of. I think he gets he gets so much, but I think his best work was at Dortmund, if you ask me. Just replacing with Potter, which is Potter is basically a theory, a theory that some 3 of us in a bar will make while we're drinking, like. Hey, that Brighton guy, if you give him a top job, I bet he will. I bet he will do really good.
I think he's going to smash it with Bayern. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, Tuchel is a great manager.
I think if Bayern support him like they do, I think he's going to smash it.
Well, he's another club that wins. The only question they ask themselves every season is, are we going to win Champions League? So,
I think if he gets the support that he gets, I think he smashes it with Bayern because Bayern Bundesliga is a given. The only thing they care about is Champions League.
Exactly.
But people are already saying that maybe Potter. Well, not people. I think maybe Potter got sacked because he committed the cardinal sin of leaving the 10th spot on the league table because he should just have stayed there. But by sliding to position 11 on the table, Todd Bowley was like, "No, that can't be happening. You have to stay in 10th. You're out." So I think that's why he is being sacked. But for the cardinal sin of leaving 10th
No, listen. The guy came in and we were 4 points off the top, right? 4 or 6 points off the top.
Yeah.
I understood we're going to go down, but we are 11th. Yesterday, NBC showed the points total since he came on. And Unai has beaten him in points, and he came on in November.
Who has beaten him in points?
Unai Emery has beaten him.
Yes. Badly beaten.
Your owner just hired a manager from Brighton who has no connection from the club. Like people like try to make Solskjaer or anybody else. They have connection with the club, right? They're not just like brand just from. Potter is like a dude from Brighton that you wanted to come in to basically oversee superstar players, something he's never done before, right?
So
in a very highly competitive market like Chelsea, and Chelsea, they're all about. Obviously, you can see they're all about winning. things.
Well, it's
question,
about
Asha.
winning. But if I ask every fan this, if Eric Ten Hagen came in and you guys were, what position were you guys in?
Last season?
Last year, I think we're about 7th or 8th. I can't remember.
And then you ended up in 12th. Would you want him to stay?
I want him to finish the season.
Why?
Based on the trophies. Based on the trophies.
But because you know every position has like at least 1,000 or 10,000 pounds.
Million
doesn't care about all that.
It's a million. Okay.
Yeah. But and that's just my philosophy. I'm not speaking for all United fans. My philosophy, I'm happy this is happening with Chelsea because I hate your philosophy, right? Because it's like a Hail Mary. How many times will someone throw a Hail Mary and make a touchdown? This is kind of running. It's not sustainable. At some point, reality needs to set in. Like you can't be firing managers and be expecting hardware at the end, like Champions League or the FA Cup. This is ridiculous. The kind of success you've seen doing this nonsense you guys have been doing.
If you win the Champions League this year, I know everyone to be pissed off. Pissed off. I know Arsenal fans will even enjoy their Premier League. They'll be so pissed off if we win the Champions League.
Yeah,
I'm going to read some comments, but before I read some comments out, I'll just quickly do some housekeeping and for all our fans, all the people who are watching or the people who are joining in. If you want to spread the word, our YouTube channel is at Footy Fantasy, all caps. Twitter is at Footy AD Fantasy, and Instagram at Fantasy Footy. You can help us just like, subscribe, share, and get the word out there that we do things different here. I just jumped to the comments, but while I'm reading the comments, I want you to ponder on something, Asha. Potter or Lampard? Who did better, in your opinion? Well, all that thought while I read the comments, just all that thought. I would like your opinion, because when you were listing the managers, you didn't list Lampard. When you were talking about the managers, you didn't list Lampard. So comments here, some people are already trolling all of us, saying the regular point losers breakfast club, this podcast. Facebook user, please put your name. Let us know who's trolling us. I'm sure it's an Arsenal fan, because Arsenal didn't lose any points this weekend. So that has to be an Arsenal fan. So I'm suspecting, I think I probably will know who that is. But yeah, that person is right. We all lost points this weekend. So regular point losers breakfast club. All right. So they're asking about Ayo. They are saying, where's Ayo? This person is saying he wants to talk, I promise. They're saying Chelsea is not winning any trophies with this approach. But they did in the time past. They've done it regularly. The evidence is there. They win. Even last season, you guys got to 2 finals. It's only that Liverpool beat you on penalties in the both finals. So this approach has proved successful a lot, and you can't write Chelsea off from getting to the Champions League final. So I don't know. The people are saying Chelsea won't win trophies with this approach. Chelsea have done it time and time again. We might not like the approach, but man, you just don't know. Okay, they're saying we should stop the delusion that Chelsea can't win the Champions League. Well, please put your name, Facebook user. Let us know who we address.
We have the talent there now. We just need a good coach. People forget that.
So, Asha, answer to my question before we move on to another topic. Lampard or Potter, who do you think did better?
Lampard did better.
But based on what? He didn't win anything and he didn't qualify for the Champions League.
What was Lampard's win percentage?
No, Lampard had a higher win percentage than Potter.
Lampard, he did. I think
it was like 40% or 50. It was. I think he beat the 50%.
So Potter is 40% total, then less about 30.
Potter is less than 40.
I'm talking total, all competitions.
Total? I thought it was less.
He's 40 because I just read the Chelsea website. Not the website. Some website said it, but he's 30-ish for the league, 30 for the league.
Yeah,
which is bad.
Right. I think he probably is among the lowest points total for, I think, most Premier League managers, not even just Chelsea.
He has the second worst record of any Chelsea manager in the Premier League era.
Wow.
Right. Yes, he has a bad record, even just Premier League managers, not even just Chelsea. And that's what people forget.
Oh, as in not just even Chelsea, overall.
Yeah, like overall, he's not even, like, I think you can look this up.
Well, Well,
Look it up. Look it up.
I think that sounds very harsh. I don't think
it is harsh, but
I think it's Chelsea.
It's not just Chelsea.
I think it's Chelsea in the Premier League era.
Yeah,
he has a bad percentage.
Wow.
Yeah, look
barely
it up.
30, so maybe like 28, 29 point something.
Because we've had managers who didn't win any game and got sacked. You know, we had managers like Frank De Boer, who Mourinho said 0-0-0.
That's really harsh.
Well, so you said Lampard or Potter. Lampard is better because when Lampard came in, we had a transfer ban.
Okay.
The only new players Lampard had was I'm trying to think. There was a player we had already paid for, and so he was able to play him. But other than that, Lampard couldn't sign anyone. All the players Lampard had was people young players coming from loan. Tammy, Tomori, Mount, Chalobah. Who else started that year? I'm trying to think. It was mostly the core of that team was young players. Oh, Ziyech came in. Ziyech came in on the Lampard. We had already paid for him. I think.
Okay.
Ziyech was a new person. So basically, Lampard was teaching young players, 21, 20-year-olds, 22, how to. Oh yeah, we got Kovacic.
Yeah, I'll put that on the screen. Yeah, okay. These comments are flying. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for putting names.
So
he said, yeah, Lampard got Kovacic and Pulisic, and Potter
so
has 7 wins from 22 games. Oof. Wow, so that's really bad.
He got that. And Lampard is supposed to be an ex-Premier League who only had 1 year at Derby. Potter has how many years at Swansea and Brighton? How many years? Is it 3 or 4?
Yeah, even more, I think. Yeah, total.
And he's getting outcoached by Lampard.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up the Chelsea chat. And we won't wrap it up because we have to preview the Battle of the Bastards Part 2. earlier this season, that's what I call this match, Liverpool versus Chelsea. Based on the Game of Thrones episode, that epic episode where it's just Battle of the Bastards. This is part 2 happening at Stamford Bridge. Both teams have been in bad form. Liverpool, I think we just overdosed ourselves on 7-Up, and now we've been purging and just like having diarrhea after drinking too much 7-Up. And now we have to go to Chelsea after getting smashed by Man City. And I don't know, I'm not happy in the sense that now Chelsea might have that manager bounce. They might have that manager bounce and actually beat us in this game.
Depends on who the manager is, you know.
It could be.
It doesn't matter. You know, so these players sometimes they don't even need to know that there's a new manager in. They'll just like.
You say it could be JT?
Yeah. JT's already at the club.
Oh, he is, yeah.
Yeah, he's already at the club.
Oh wow.
So
imagine that. If it's JT, then Chelsea are definitely winning that game because those players will run through brick walls for him. Like, you know, it's a proper legend. It might be short-lived, but that's what they call manager bounce. The first few games, they will just like put in 120% effort. But what do you think? How do you think that match is going to go? Chelsea versus Liverpool at Stamford Bridge Tuesday.
I just want to see Noni versus Trent.
Not Murdick. Now, how do you pronounce it? Is it not Murdick? What's that guy's name? The Ukrainian.
I thought he was Nigerian. I thought you guys would know. Is he not Nigerian? What is he?
No, I know Noni, but I thought you don't. Are you not talking about the other guy? Murdick. The one.
Oh no, not him. No, Murdick. I don't know. I didn't have hope in him, honestly.
You already gave up on Murdick.
I probably was one of the only Chelsea fans who wasn't hype about him.
I thought he was the next coming of Messi.
Okay. No, I wasn't hype about him because I looked up his YouTube videos and I was like, he's
David. You know, David, you're a Chelsea fan. The first game
he loves it.
He was like, this Murdick is going to kill the league. He dribbled past James Milner and Murdick was the next Messi. For David, Murdick was the next Messi. I was like, look at this guy.
I wasn't hype on him. I saw his highlights and I was like, it was like Pulisic. It was giving me memories of Pulisic and he said Dan James. Yes, Dan James is true. It was giving me because I didn't see any end product.
Oh, really?
I didn't see any end product. Like,
oh wow,
I didn't really see any end product, and I was like, he's good. But
so you're saying he can just run? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I wanted to see shades of Willian or Hazard, and I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Willian at this age is still old, but Willian will beat you on the ball and he'll put in a dangerous cross. Hazard would just beat your whole team at his prime. I don't know what Magic is. Magic is just like, I'm just going to dribble, and then it's like,
I still think one of the biggest scam of the century was Chelsea managing to get 100 million for Hazard. Like you guys used him, you wrung every single juice out of him, and the final year of his contract, you got 100 million for him from Madrid. And look at him now; he's barely played 5 games for Madrid since he's gone. That was the biggest scam of the century, man. 100 million in his final year.
I think that is on Hazard more than Chelsea. If you've listened to Mikel said this guy who used to just sit in training and just cross his arms. I don't know if you saw that interview. He said he just sits there.
Yeah.
And then he starts a game, then he just plays. But I think that was on him. So he didn't take care of his body.
Yeah, true. I just quickly read the comments. Please, as you're putting in your comments, thanks for your comments, but put your name so we know who it is, because it's just showing a Facebook user. This person is saying Bruno Salter is the interim coach. I don't know how true that is. For Chelsea, please, maybe you can do some Googling in the background. Another comment says Modric is is another Dan James. Well, it's looking like that so far, but maybe if he settles down next season, maybe he might get more end product. So Asha, as we round up, do you think Chelsea beats Liverpool, apart from Trent, who you think, okay, Trent is going to suffer against Nani? But what do you think the score is going to be?
The score. We might win 3-0.
Whoa!
We might win 3-0, or it's going to be club comes and says, "You're not getting any new manager bounce on us. We are playing 5-4-0." Forget it, and it's going to be a boring 0-0. Those are the only two end games.
That's true, because the last 3 games Liverpool have played against Chelsea have been 0-0.
0-0.
The last 3 games,
0-0 or 3-0.
Yeah, I don't see Liverpool winning that game. I think we might get a draw. But we're not good. We're really bad now. Like Liverpool are not. I still don't know how we beat United 7-0. To be honest, I expected us to lose that match. I don't know how we won that match. So we're bad. Liverpool are bad, and I don't see us winning at Stamford Bridge. Especially now you have that manager bounce.
Yeah, I'll just make a comment about United. So I looked in the table, and United's goal difference is only 4.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And Chelsea's is -1, and I'm like, how the heck are we 11th and our goal difference only?
Chucky, can you address that?
Yeah,
why is it so low?
Look, this is the issue with the last manager. Well, the last full-time manager of United said this, and people were up in arms because people don't understand nuance, and football is just banter and anti-intellectual. So he said something like this. He's like, "Hey, like trophies sometimes are for egos because they don't really tell you how much progress you've made in a team," and that's exactly where United are. It looks like we're in a lot of cup competitions. We can concentrate and drill our collective resources to make sure we do something good in a cup and get some hardware. We've done one with the Carling Cup. The +4 tells you something about United, right? It tells you, for example, Newcastle has scored 41 goals. United has scored what? Exactly 41 goals.
Wow.
The same amount of goals both teams have scored. Newcastle's goal difference is 22. United is 4.
That's bad.
If you talk to United fans, they'll tell you Varane and Martinez are the best defenders on God's
Martinez, Messi's best friend. World Cup winner.
They'll tell you that. They'll tell you that, and they'll tell you They'll tell you David De Gea can save. Can save
PDFs.
From going to hell.
What documents?
Exactly. So something's going on with and United is one of the deepest defensive structures, which means that the line deep. If you watch the game today, all the goals United were so deep in their half and they still conceded. That tells you something, that defensive structure is in there. If you're leaking that many goals, it's not there. We're not scoring that much, to be fair, but we're scoring enough. Well, we just don't know. I think Ten Hag has come in and taught these players how to win a little bit. What he hasn't coached them on is how to lose. You don't lose 7-0 to this Liverpool in recession.
Exactly.
Right?
Honestly, I don't know how that happened.
City, you have to learn to lose, like the Mourinho lose that. The Conte lose that. Don't lose 7-0. Don't lose your head. Don't get emotional. Don't get frustrated. Don't do any of that. If you're going to lose small. Right? And that's why you get to 4. That's what
even Potter, as bad as Potter is, we haven't lost 5-0 or 7-0 to anyone.
Yeah, and United is in danger.
We only lost 3-0 to, was it 3-0 to Man City or was 2-0 or something? But it wasn't 4. It wasn't 5. No one has disgraced us.
That 7-0 it just needs an inquisition. I mean, it's not just the manager; it's everything. The structure, the system is an inquisition. Because City are firing on all cylinders, trying to catch up with Arsenal. Liverpool don't even know what a cylinder is. Why are you losing 7-0 to that team? It doesn't make any sense. So you can tell you that this project is pretty new.
Yeah.
They're probably not playing the way United is generally not compact. They have superior individual players here and there. They have this manager that's like a new village headmaster, so he kind of keeps them, he'll try to run like a meritocracy where if you're playing badly, you're freaking out. If you show lack of discipline, he's punishing you. So that he's infused the team with. But structurally, look at the math. I always tell my friends, don't worry about the emotions and blah, 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 the narratives. Look at the math. You win the league by winning most of your games or making sure you are managing the balance between the goals you're scoring and the goals you're letting in. And United are under Brentford, who have like +9 in goal difference.
Wow.
That's bad.
So you guys have a worse defensive record than we do?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but now that's the thing with stats. This is skewed by some heavy defeat. So you can't technically say that's why stats are good, but they don't give you the whole story sometimes. It's skewed by the fact that United have considered big number of goals in couple of few games.
Correct.
So for example, they considered 4, I think, to Brentford, or who was it at the beginning of the season? Considered 4-0. I think it was Brentford or Brighton, and then they considered 6 to City, and they considered 7 to Liverpool.
Okay,
so that's 17 goals right there.
Okay,
I'm just trying to say that doesn't mean technically that United's defense is worse than Chelsea. It's just that maybe in those 3 games you guys got blown out, and then it's just Chelsea maybe lost more, but they didn't lose by 5-0.
Good defensive teams don't get blown out.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes back to it. Like,
good defensive teams lose.
Yes.
They don't get blown out.
Yes.
It happens sometimes.
Not consistently, at least. They might get blown out. They might get blown out one time, lose their head, blah, blah. You park that one and say, you forget about it. Right? This isn't anything about that. This is, you can't say a problem is less of a problem because there are underlying problems behind the big problem we're talking about.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying your defense is good. I'm just saying comparatively, maybe comparing it to somebody else.
No, you got the root cause. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just giving a different interpretation of the result of what you said. The result is we don't have. I'm not saying defense, structure.
Structure.
I'm not saying defenders. I'm talking about team structure, where you're organizing your team to be compact.
I think it's bad because I'm looking at your record. You lost 4-2 to Cadiz back in, I think, Europa League.
Oh, no, let's not put Europa League. Come on, we're talking about the league.
But I'm just looking at overall your whole structure.
Yeah, it's a trend. It's all good.
So you do have a lot of +3 goal losses.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, but let's see what Oga Kwame is saying. Oga Kwame, thanks for joining us. So it's saying Chuke is completely right. He's saying losing 7-0 and having a +4 goals difference is reflective of the volatility of that squad and the team structure. And his final comment on this was like, in turn, that kind of volatility is reflective of the deep fragility of the structure and the mentality. Oga Kwame is showing that he's a lawyer because all this big grammar and look at that. Let me just read that again. It's like it's even rhyming here. It's like in turn, that kind of volatility is reflective of the deep fragility of the structure and the mentality. Wow, Oga Kwame, thanks for that comment. But we understand what you're saying because you're backing up what Chuki is saying.
Yeah, other than Oga Kwame dropping bars, like complete bars, he's correct. He's correct. Again, remember, this is a team that is learning to believe in themselves again. So obviously there's PTSD there. Obviously, you question yourself when things go wrong. You're like that Liverpool game, for example. Let's over-index on that one. The reason for that 7-0 is because United didn't have the they couldn't admit to themselves that, okay, we've lost it here, so let's just stay disciplined. They kept on trying to go like, we're a better team, we should do better. We're expected to win. Let's go. Let's just blow everything.
But that's a good sign.
Don't do that.
I think that's a good sign. That shows that you guys have belief that you can still get something out of the game. I prefer doing that than being cowardly.
Forget it.
By being cowardly, because if
thank you, brother. Don't mind all that. because all I say that I love that you let us withdraw from your bank account 7 times consecutively.
Yeah, no.
It shows you guys have. It shows you guys have a healthy balance.
No, I felt the point I was trying to make is I think Ten Hag has instilled in them, but like you said, Ten Hag is probably teaching them how to get over that PTSD of losing so much. And at that point, United were in good form. They had good confidence, and I think there's been an improvement. I'm not going to be praising United. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I'm just saying from the point of view where I'm watching from. I think there's a big improvement because look at who's striking for you. Weghorst is up front. So obviously that's not the striker you guys want.
I hate that so much. I really do. I really hate that.
Dalot is right back who is at best competent. Wan-Bissaka is also good, but it's not what you want from right back.
It's not about scoring a lot. Look, guys, you can win 100 million ways. You just pick and choose your poison. Mourinho used to win 1-0. We don't have to score a whole bunch of goals. I just told you that United and Newcastle have the same amount of league goals. The same exact amount, 41. Regardless of Martial being out, regardless of Weghorst, the manager not being given money, so you have to go to loan and get this, where's he even from? Burnley player, right? Regardless of that, don't worry about that. It's about how are you managing your resources to where you are optimizing where you're strong are in, and you're protecting where you're weak in. You cannot be conceding an amount of goals at the same rate you're scoring. It's just not. That's low. I mean, that kind of +4 is what you see like in the way below Chelsea level, right? Like under 11.
Let me just take comments. Sorry,
I just want to remind everybody that Chelsea was that.
Daniel asked this comment.
I do have a point there.
Sorry, guys. This that from Daniel says we aren't scoring enough. We are over reliant on Rashford. Fair point. Structure isn't great because too many technical limitations in the squad. Okay, I just quickly read the next comment. This one is addressing me saying Klopp gave up by pulling out Salah, Robertson, and putting Tsimikas, Firmino. There's a reason for that because we're playing Chelsea in less than 48 hours. What's the point when the game is 3-1 and it was definitely basically over? What's the point of running Salah and Robertson? Robertson played 2 games for Scotland. One of those games was against Spain, where they won, and Salah had gone away for the Egyptian games. So what's the point of running them into the ground when we have Chelsea in the next game? So, the people he put in were good strikers. He put in, you're talking about Firmino as if Firmino is one League 2 striker. Firmino is still a striker who scored against United just like a couple of weeks ago. And Tsimikas is a very competent left back. In fact, I think it's the best second left back in the league. So it's not like he's putting in players. It's not like he's putting in players who are shit, basically. But he pulled out Salah. Main reason because we're saving him for Chelsea.
I'm confused. I'm confused with that statement. Sorry, could you?
No, because I was saying that he's following up your point of that, like when United, when it was, they should have just given up. They should have just shut up shop.
Okay.
That they shouldn't have surrendered.
Yeah, I understand that point. Is the saving thing for Liverpool because Liverpool season is done. Like what can you say?
Well, the City game was
in the try. They can get a Europe in the try.
The thing is the game after Chelsea. the reason why it's not for me, I think it's over. But the reason why the manager won't say it's over, because after Chelsea and Arsenal, Liverpool's run of fixtures are not too bad. So this is the worst part of the season. So after this.
Rangnick, even though he wasn't a full-time manager at United, so that's the context there. So asterisk there. Rangnick had one of the worst seasons we had in modern history, and you guys are 3 or 5 points off where he was. So you guys are pretty much done. So there's no point saving.
No, they can.
We're only 8 points behind United.
Yeah, they're only 7
points behind United. I don't know how the season is done when you have 11 games. For me, I have given up. But for the manager, he won't give up because 8 points, not double digits. And United, you guys are not in good form either. You have lost.
No, we're not. I'm not gonna lie.
8 points behind fourth place is not over.
The context behind that is if we have the full complement of our squad, and it's not like we have someone injured. If Casemiro comes back, then it kind of changes the whole equation again.
Me, I've given up on this season since like 2 months ago, and it's even a United fan, Oga Kwame, who was like, "Oh, Liverpool will still make top 4," and I was laughing in his face. I was like, "Oh, Liverpool make top 4." I've given up on the season, but I understand why the manager won't give up on the season because it's only 8 points between us and fourth place. Now there are a few teams in between us and United. Yes, that's granted. But I wouldn't say that the manager is giving up on the season when we have 11 games to go and there's only 8 points. 8 points can disappear very quickly. You know how this league is. But let me just read other
Liverpool have 42 points and Chelsea have 38 points. So make it make sense now. Why does Asher feel that means Chelsea's in it? Why are you sacking Potter then?
Chelsea's not in it. Liverpool has a better chance. Brighton still has to play Arsenal, City. I was just looking at that fixture list. Yeah. They still have to play Man United, City, and a couple of people in the relegation battle. They have to play Everton. I think they play Arsenal twice. Did they play Arsenal twice? No, they play Arsenal once. So they basically still have to play all the top 4. At least 3 of the top 4. Mm-hmm. That is not a given.
Oh, you're talking about Brighton?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, Brighton.
That's pretty good.
Brighton, they're good. They're a good team.
Yeah,
they're good.
They're good, but I don't think they.
I think top 4. I think top 4 is still. I think it's going to stay the way it is. So we'll move on. Let me just quickly read the comments, and then we can move on to our next bit. Oga Kwame was saying, that you don't lose 7 if you don't lose your heads. At least 4 of those 7 goals were almost identical. There has been an improvement. This is what the point I was trying to make. There's been big improvements at United compared to previously. But he says the systemic problems are still there. That's fair. Absolutely. Daniel says there's no balance in midfield. Well, I think Casemiro being out is a big problem. He says that's the glaring representation and that goes different. I think Casemiro, for me, I said it a few weeks ago, I think for me it's the player of the season. The impact he has brought to that United, I mean, like in terms of impact, it's the player of the season for me. Not that he's the best player, but I just mean in terms of impact. And missing him for 3 games and now missing him for 4 games, it's going to always cause a big problem for United.
Yeah.
And then somebody, Idris, Asha, this is your fellow Chelsea fan. Chelsea right now, like, thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Sugar Toddy. Idris is so happy. Okay. Let's see.
Just a quick comment about that midfield. So that's why when I was naming United midfield, and I was like, you guys don't have any future midfield. I don't see the.
We just started now, and we just have. This is the first season.
I don't see.
Demand like at least a couple of windows before we start saying we can see what you're building.
Yeah, like there's still time.
We all know the people he went after, especially one that shall not be named in Barcelona.
Who are United midfield targets?
You don't know?
No, I don't remember anyone.
Frankie De Jong. They've been chasing him.
It was only like the opera of the year, right? Like the Frankie De Jong.
Frankie goes to Old Trafford.
So he has the plans. They haven't landed yet. Casemiro, we got luckily, right? We're looking at others that we got Casemiro. So Casemiro is the first cog, which is good. Experience comes from the Real Madrid Champions League. Really good. He's showing more than what we thought. We thought we're just going to get a sitter. We can see that at Real Madrid, he really restrained himself because other people were doing the stuff. He can really do box to box, right? Issue is the game is faster in England. I'm guessing why not. He never got a straight red at Real Madrid ever. All his years there, ever, not even one, right? So the speed of the game might be a little challenging. And once he gets that, once he assimilates properly, I think that suspension bit, other than the neck hand, whatever. That I think the putting hands on someone's neck, that was a little unfortunate. Other than that, I think he's going to the kind of stable. United needs the midfield. We probably need 2 more grade A midfielders, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking because I heard Frankie De Jong, but he's not even as stable as Barca. He's not the prime midfield person at Barca.
Based on quality
at Frankie De Jong. I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Well, I'm saying he's not the prime midfielder at Barca. So I'm like, why would you
guys?
Not
based on quality, though.
It's about fit. It's about profile. He's a press-resistant midfielder who is great at distributing ball while under pressure, right? And that's kind of what we need.
Who, Frankie?
Yeah.
Did you guys you guys cornered him against Barca?
Yeah, he wasn't the only one playing for Barca though.
I know, but
as a team,
if I remember that game, it
doesn't matter. Barca they just have a bad record in Europe. They got knocked out of Europe twice, once in the UCL and once in the Europa League. Ten Hag played a brilliant game. I mean, you have to give the coach credit. He played a brilliant game, two legs against Barca that I believe probably had a better attack, and it worked. It works in Europe. It's one game, 2 games.
Listen, I think
we're talking about 38 games. 38 games.
Stop chasing that guy.
De Jong is a gem in 38 games for us. If we can get him,
I think you guys need to stop chasing him, because
I think
if you guys were able to press him and win the ball from him and beat Barca, I think you guys need to go find a better player.
De Jong is one of the best press resistant.
I don't know. I'm still yet to see it at the high level.
Do you watch?
How many Barcelona games do you watch? I've
seen a couple. I watched the game against.
A couple is not going to cut it.
No, against What is that team that this guy is on? The Ghanaian guy, the Ghanaian striker is on. I can't remember his name.
Striker.
Yeah. The other brother plays for Ghana and the other one plays for Spain.
Okay. So while you're thinking of that, we just take a few other comments. Well, Daniel is saying everything else talent.
Sorry. Okay.
He's saying he wanted Rabiot. Okay, I don't know. Do you agree with that? That's questionable. Wanting Rabiot, Chucky. Do you think Rabiot?
If for someone to be in a squad in a team that has zero defensive, of course, it's okay. He's good. We're talking about having McTominay and Fred. This is starting for no Casemiro at this point. We got Casemiro after the Rabiot thing fell through.
Yeah,
then we got Casemiro.
That's true.
So understand where we were. We had Fred, McTominay.
Fred.
There is, you think about it and you're like, okay.
Well, see, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, there's no speed in your midfield.
But they'll build. You're saying it, Asha. Sorry to cut you, but this is the first year of Ten Hag. You're saying as if they have to fix all the problems straight away. It's not fantasy football. It's not like Man City or what your club Chelsea did.
Exactly. You guys have got all the players in the world.
You can't fix everything in one window.
No. Listen. This is my point. All right. We know we needed speed. We got rid of Jorginho.
Okay.
And we got Enzo.
Okay.
Enzo is not fast, but Enzo can track back.
Okay.
We still have Kante.
Okay.
We have Gallagher. He's not fast, but again, he's pretty good. Arsenal has Xhaka. Partey is not fast, but Partey is pretty. He can still get back. Who else did they have?
Yeah, so do you think that's stopping United from getting those kind of players next season? Because they can still get those kind of players.
Exactly.
I don't see it in the market, so I don't know. Maybe it's behind the scenes.
They'll be in the market. Come on. Then there's no shortage of players who can run fast and defend. Come on, there's no shortage.
We're talking from two different perspectives here. We don't have sugar in our diet yet. Once we get our own sugar daddy, then yes, you can look at the market and start picking and selecting like his FUT on FIFA, right? 23. Right now we're not there. We have to make trade-offs. It's like we didn't have. It was one of the. We were not going to get FDJ, Frankie De Jong, Rabiot, and Casemiro. We're going to get one of those three, and we ended up with Casemiro. I think we ended up with probably one of the bases of which you can build something from. Right? We have one. Listen to this. We have one singular defensive midfielder at Manchester United. One. Right? So that's why.
All right, so we'll wrap up this Man United section and just go before, so we can go to the final topic before we start heading off. I'll just read the final few comments. Oga Kwame says, how can you have future in quotes in midfield if you cannot fix it now? We're fixing the midfield for now. That's why Casemiro has to Casemiro right now. Fair enough. Oga Kwame is also defending Frankie de Jong. I know Asha is not a big fan of Frankie. Frankie actually starts at Barcelona and is key for Xavi. Yes, we beat Barcelona. That's United beat Barcelona. But did you see how Frankie played? He was solid AF. Please put some respect on his name.
You guys are stuck
Asha is not convinced. Actually, your point. You are not convinced. Everybody has their opinion. So
find someone else. Find someone else.
Idris is here, the Chelsea fan, our Chelsea legend. He's saying, well, he's saying basically keep playing this game. Your midfield will carry it to where you don't want to go. Yeah, midfield is important. honestly, like as a Liverpool fan, I understand why midfield is so important, because that's what costs us a lot of problems this season. Midfield is important, so that's why we too are going to buy midfielders next season. The final comment here before we go to our next section is one defensive midfielder and one striker. Exactly, it's true. United. That's why I kept saying Weghorst. It's because Weghorst isn't that. It's a hologram. I'm sure. I don't know whether that's Ogakwame. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That you guys, you're saying you're struggling for goals, but we actually don't have any proper center. Even Rashford is not a proper center forward. So. Yes, I can understand why you have problems, but
we need a striker. We need a striker. Ronaldo was at the club. Everyone understand what happened was high profile divorce. But you can keep on pumping goals. If you're pouring water in a bucket, then there's no point of how much water you're pouring if you're just coming out the other way, right? So at the end of the day, you have to find that balance where you're secure at the back, and now you have like attacking force that's actually creating and producing goals. And now we have neither, so that's where we are.
Speaking of,
we just have a really great manager right now. And that's kind of what's keeping us afloat.
Chucky was asking for sugar daddy situation just a couple of minutes ago. So we're segueing into our next section about sugar daddies taking over various clubs. Like for me, I call the Chelsea owner Sugar Toddy, because that man is just splashing the cash everywhere, buying everything willy and nilly. I wouldn't mind that at Liverpool. I'm not even bantering. Like, if give me that kind of owner at Liverpool, I'll take it. But the Premier League are bringing in new measures to stop people with questionable character, people who have human rights record abuses on their record, trying to limit them from buying into the Premier League in the future. So that's what we're just going to talk about briefly. Do you think this is a welcome development? Do you think maybe they've been too interfering too much? Some people will say, these people have money, let them spend their money for their football club. Why are you trying to stop them from spending their money? But some people are like, well, if you have human rights abuses on your record, then you shouldn't be coming to the Premier League to be sports washing. So I'll start with you, Asha. Do you have any thoughts on this? Do you, as the beneficiary of a sugar daddy, do you think this is a good idea for the Premier League?
As a sugar baby.
A legendary. I think I'm in two minds about this, right? So one, when Abramovich first came, well, when the whole Russia incident happened, last year, right? They all said Abramovich is the worst person ever. But if I remember correctly, wasn't Arsenal owned by a Russian guy?
No, he had maybe second largest majority shares, Usmanov. Yeah, and not just Arsenal, Everton, because he also went to buy shares in Everton too.
Yes. No one mentioned anything about that. When the whole incident happened, everyone said Chelsea's worst, but Qataris have been spending almost $1 billion or $2 billion on Man City so far, right? Mm-hmm. No one has complained about that.
They have,
but they don't talk about Chelsea. So it's two minds. I'm like, well, if you're going to actually limit people out of it, then actually do it. Don't just put the focus on one club and then make every one club look like we are just the worst.
I agree with you, because I remember when the Chelsea thing was going on, I consistently used to say, why are they not talking about Everton? Because Everton's situation was similar to Chelsea, because Everton also had Russian money, big Russian money in their club, but nobody was really talking about Everton. It's now just last week or 2 weeks ago, now they're not saying, oh, Everton have broken financial fair play rules. They were not really talking much about that when they were focusing on Chelsea. But now that, maybe Chelsea's situation is out of the way, now they're focusing on Everton. So you're right. They were picking and choosing who to focus on. But Chucky, what's your thoughts on this situation? This new measures being brought in.
I have to take a look. I don't know exactly what the language behind what the governance they are introducing. The details behind the governance.
I have a few of I have a tab open here where I'll just really do the summary of what they want, what's going forward.
Okay.
So basically, they're saying there's a new disqualifying event subject to government sanctions. So based on global human rights sanctions regulations of 2020, they've extended the list of criminal offenses include offenses involving violence, corruption, fraud, tax evasion, and hate crimes. So if you as an owner or if you as a director of the club is involved in any of those things I just listed, then you will not be allowed to take over a club. and they'll be doing it on a yearly basis. So it's not like, oh, you passed the owner's test the first time and they won't investigate you again.
Okay.
So if you pass it, they'll come back next year to check, have you done any of these bad things? If you've done any of these bad things, you can't own this club, we're going to sanction you.
Okay.
Things like that. So they're just broadening the scope of.
Okay. So because I don't like lip service, is like, okay, as a normal citizen, like if you have a felony or whatever, it's hard for you to apply and get a job. So I'm fine with you being a business entity and applying to assume ownership of an asset and having felonies that might be disqualified. I'm fine. I'm totally good. I find it's applied evenly across the board. I'm good with that. What I'm not good with is trying to over-index on one specific point in there, like maybe like human rights. And because if it's all about human rights violations, then why? I mean, people in England, Apple operates with impunity in England, in Britain. Nike as well, and they all have like, not allegedly, we know for sure they have like human rights violations. So don't use that as like a like a lightning rod to whip up something. The other thing I'm against really is state ownership as well, and not because of just let's kind of disconnect the human rights stuff. Just a government owning a commercial club, I'm against that idea totally, right? Because it gets too messy. First of all, that's not what governments are for anyway, right? And I'm just totally against it. Like, any country, like I don't want Nigeria owning Arsenal or something like that, even though it would be hilarious. Right? I just don't think it should happen. It should always be either communal based, maybe fans, or a hybrid of fans and commercial entities, or just commercial entities, but it should not be governmental entities. Because just the leverage of power that governments have are just too, I think it's too much.
Yeah, but this topic is provoking some very strong reactions, so which is good. We're all here for topical discussion, and it's not always about banter. It's not always about just trolling. Yeah, it's good to have good discussion about it. This is a comment from, I'm guessing this is from Idris. He's saying, what is the definition of human rights? People move the goalpost on this moral crap. People always complain when the money is not European or Western, if it's Chinese or Arab or Russian. He says he finds it absurd, but again, it's not my country. I'm guessing that's Idris. I see the point he's making. I see a bit of hypocrisy sometimes. Like some money is allegedly clean if it's coming from a certain part of the world, and if it's coming from another part of the world, it's frowned upon. I see that happening. I think these new rules, these new measures put in place, it's probably we do need something like this in the Premier League. I just hope it's not for witch hunting purposes, like Chuki also brought it up. That it's not just human rights, because if we're going to start talking about human rights, like some of the Western countries, UK, US, have participated in things that you will know that compromise human rights. They've invaded other countries under the pretext of they have weapons of mass destruction, and they go there just for ulterior motives. So if we're going to start saying that, then I don't think anybody's clean of that. But if they're actually going to be serious about it, and they're improving the scope now to include corruption, fraud, tax evasion, hate crimes, that's fair enough. So thank you for that comment. And Oga Kwame has a follow-up comment based on, he believes, if anything, the new owner and directors regulation says more about how little we have cared about human rights and ethics. It's way too late, medicine after death settings, but it is what it is. Yes, I think that's also a fair point, because I think they could have forestalled this. They could have tried to, do something about this way before. I think maybe also because the fact that certain clubs are becoming more successful, and now they're now thinking like Chelsea and Chelsea and City have become successful, and they're like, oh no, these guys are successful. If they were not, like, nobody was talking about Everton, because Everton don't win anything. So Everton have had a Russian owner basically for years. They've been breaking financial fair play rules for like years, but because they've not been winning anything, nobody has really been talking. So so maybe this is like, I do agree, maybe it's a bit too late. Idris is saying, what about American owners after billionaires lobby government that goes around hair striking countries and invading countries? So that's what I was saying, like, we shouldn't limit it. I'm sure none of us wants to see, we don't want to see human rights being violated. we just want consistency in criticism. I mean, for me personally, I want consistency. I want like, oh, okay, if you're going to condemn these people for doing this, then you should condemn those people who are doing that too. That's what I want. And so like Oga Kwame is saying here, how did we allow Saudi Arabia and Mohammed bin Salman own Newcastle if we care about human rights? So that's another thing, like the Newcastle got taken over by Saudis. Well, I think Newcastle, the thing is, there's always a good side and bad side. Like Man City, Asha, you correctly said they've invested a lot of money in Manchester. It's not just in the club. I mean, in the area.
A whole country's GDP is in Manchester.
Sorry?
And no one has complained about it.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said a whole country's income level and how much money they produce is literally Manchester City.
Yeah,
and no one has complained about it.
They've created jobs, they've improved infrastructure, not just the stadium, just even
general. But I mean, Abramovich did the same thing too.
Okay.
And
I didn't know that.
I believe up until the whole Russian incident started, I think Abramovich was buddies with a lot of people in parliament. I remember seeing articles about that. But then I think when the whole Russian thing started back during Obama's time, then he started having issues with visa. So sometimes I just find it funny because it's almost like it comes out during certain parts of the year when certain things are going on. When things die down, everyone is, oh, we're all happy, we're all buddies. Then when it comes back, everyone's like, we hate these people, we don't want them.
That's the thing. Yeah, I remember on this podcast, maybe late last year or early this year, I brought up the point that around the time when they were focusing on Chelsea and all of that, this same UK government were doing a deal with Saudi Arabia. I know it was around the time of the Newcastle takeover, when when Saudi took over Newcastle. People were like, oh, we don't want the Saudis taking over Newcastle. I was like, UK government, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, was signing a deal with Saudi Arabia at that same point, selling weapons to Saudi Arabia. US were selling weapons to Saudi Arabia. What billions? And UK were signing deals with the Saudi Arabians for billions of pounds. You know, the whole country, people just look at football in a bubble. But the whole country, you guys are saying, oh, we don't want Newcastle to be taken over. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, maybe they committed some human rights crime, but you can't pick and choose when to raise your voice in criticism. So when they bought Newcastle, people are shouting, but you guys are ignoring the other money your government, the UK government, is taking from the same people for building infrastructure, for investment. And the US actively were selling weapons to Saudi Arabia to carry out atrocities in Yemen. So why are some people focused on just the football element? You're not talking about the government itself. It's not just a different bubble. Anyway, but that's my point.
And that's why I'm totally against state owners. It's like just ban it. State anything. If you're government, you should own a football club. Simple. End of story. Period. Right? Like don't do the other way. Don't be a consortium where you're really a state. Don't do that. Not like if you're a state governmental body, just stay in your lane, do what you do. Let commercial entities, and this is entertainment. That's what soccer is. It's entertainment, right? Let commercial entities handle it.
But you know, the problem is that they buy. I think Saudis have that where they have the majority stake in the consortium, and the consortium buys the club. I think that was the issue with Newcastle, and that was the issue, especially with Man U. I think that's the major issue now, is that who actually owns the company.
Is it mostly
City.
Well, with the new bid, with the
new bid. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what's holding it up.
Who owns? Okay, so I think the facts, as we know it, are that there's a bid from a Qatari citizen, right? Yeah, and there's a bid for, and this is the issue. It's like everybody that's these guys have money. They've been having money, right? Okay, so if your family owns something, if your families have gleaned money from maybe governmental admin, being proximity to governmental admin in a country, and an individual from that uses their own money to buy something, it's theirs. It's not the state's. It's yours. You'll be held liable. You're the only person we need to put the microscope on, right? If it's a consortium like Ineos, which is Ratcliffe, and two others, that's different, right? It's a bunch of millionaires coming together saying, hey, I can't stand alone, but if we join our resources, we can buy this great asset. I'm all for that as well, right? But one thing I'm not going to do is look at someone's citizenship and try to prejudice them because of their citizen from a place.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Very good point, Kuchuki. And I'll just read Oga Kwame's. Oga Kwame is probably backing up what we are saying, like a couple of us are saying here. He says if it's Iranian, Russian, Chinese, or Muslim money in quotes, then they shout about human rights. But if it's American and European money, then it's cool. So it's like, yeah, that's hypocrisy. There's a bit of double standards going on. Like I said, I'm speaking for basically all of us. We don't like saying human rights being violated. But if you're going to call out some certain people, then don't ignore the other people who are perpetrating the same acts. Idris is laughing and saying Saudi has a city in the UK. I don't know what city means. Gakwame says the point here is the pick and choose attitude towards this issue is all centered around money. Of course, money runs the world, and how much the big boys like you. Yeah, so I think we've all covered that well. Like I said, this podcast is always a good mix of trolling and banter, but we also discuss the deep stuff. So good job, everybody. Good, thanks for the comments, and we'll just go to the final segment, Kudos and Donkeys of the week.
Potter.
So I'll start with Chucky. Asha, you're laughing. Oh, you don't have any kudos or donkey?
I'll give Potter the donkey because I don't. Man, that's
okay.
The tactics and everything. Well, actually, Cucurella, I'll give it to Cuckoo because that backwards headed made zero sense. I don't know. Because I don't know who he was looking at. But yeah, he gets one.
It was a good assist.
They both share one.
It was a good assist, Asha. Nice header into Watkins for Watkins to score. Any kudos?
Kudos. I'll give it to Pep and City because the way they ripped you guys apart. My goodness, I was like,
second half was a massacre. It was
man, first minutes they didn't even let you guys rest. First lap, let's get
yeah, I think we got lucky because if they wanted to score 5 or 6, I think they would have. I think after the 4th goal they relaxed a bit. So yeah, kudos to them. Chucky, any kudos?
Okay, so I think for my donkey, I think it's like sticks out like a sore thumb. Todd Boehly for coming into the Premier League with his his deep insights into football admin, and already bought half the world's players and sacked 2 managers already in 1 season. So definitely donkey there for me. And for kudos, I'll say kudos to the Newcastle defensive structure, like just being stingy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And just playing the hard, like they've done it the hard way. People are talking about Saudi. Okay, that's a little unfortunate situation there because I really don't like state owners. But they haven't had they don't have any Galacticos, right? Name 2-man Newcastle defenders or whatever the case might be. Or 5 people on a team, you can't because it's they've just been playing as a team for their manager. The kind of football we all want to see, right? So kudos to their defense, and it's just been outstanding. They've been so stingy in a very competitive league.
I think before we came on air, we were discussing. I was saying they've considered only 9 goals at home all season, and out of those 9 goals, 2 of those matches was 3 against City, and 2 they considered to Liverpool. So the 4 goals considered in like 11 other games. It's the defense is a thing of joy, and I think they deserve enough praise. For me, my kudos of the week, I'll give it to Brighton and Brentford. I'll share it between them.
I was just going to mention them.
Oh, both teams shared a point. They played a 3-3 draw, and I think it would be a travesty if they don't qualify for Europe. Both of them, they deserve to be in Europe. Those 2 teams, and I think Thomas Frank probably has gone under the radar this season. Manager of Brentford, I think he's a very good manager. I think Spurs, if Spurs were smart, maybe they might be thinking of putting him in instead of Pochettino.
So qualify for Europe in place of Liverpool and Chelsea, or how are we doing it?
Spurs is a pitch. You go into Spurs and you don't come out. It's I don't think of any coach who's gone to Spurs and they've come out better. I think Mourinho is maybe the only person who's come back and he's won with Roma, but
yeah,
I don't think anyone has left Spurs and they've done well.
Poch left and won with PSG.
But then he also got sacked.
I mean, that's the whole, that's the whole point.
Yeah, that's the problem with PSG. Yeah,
I would say the last point is that whoever gets Ivan Toney is going to ball.
Yeah, but I think it's what's his age now? That's the thing. I think he's in his late 20s. I think that's what to be putting people off. But yeah, I think he's still at a good age. But I just think both teams deserve kudos because they've had very good seasons. I think they're 6th and 7th at the moment. So they're in the European spots. I think they deserve it. They've played better consistently than Liverpool all season, both teams. So I think they deserve to be in Europe. Donkey of the week. This is not sour grapes, but it will go to Man City fans. They have this bad attitude of singing about the tragedies that have happened to Liverpool. They're singing about Liverpool fans that died in 1989, and their own club had to call them out again. This not a once-off. It's like it's consistently happening. And yesterday, Man City had to put out a statement to say, "These fans, you guys have gone over the line." They were singing about Liverpool fans who died. And the fans and the club itself had to say, "Look, we're going to try and stop this. You guys should stop." I understand banter. I understand trolling. I understand I'm trying to have fun. But why do you have to start singing? It's the same thing. I know some Liverpool fans, they probably still do this to United too, singing about the Munich air crash. Why would you do that? That's just crossing the line. Why would you be bantering about somebody's death? It has to be called out. It has to be stopped. There are other things you can use to banter and troll.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be death of human beings.
Absolutely, but we care about human rights, though.
Yeah,
yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. You keep shouting about human rights, but then you're fine with singing about the deaths of people who died in tragedies. It doesn't compute, So Man City fans, for their club the club actually put out a very strong statement, which is fair. I think they did well to call the fans out and look, you guys, this is going too far. Almost every game against Liverpool, they're singing about this. So those are the donkeys of the week for me. And I think we've come to the end. This has been very, very good. Thank you guys for coming on. So we've managed to preview the Battle of the Bastards Part 2 coming up. We've talked about Newcastle against Manchester United, with Man United slipping to fourth spot. The Arsenal spot, the previous Arsenal spot, which used to be the birthright of Arsenal. United are occupying it now. And we've managed to talk about the new structure for the owners and directors. And it's been a blast. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for all the comments.
Last comment. Since no one talked about Arsenal, I have an unpopular opinion, and then Arsenal fans are not going to get mad at me at this. But
careful.
Arsenal are going to repeat Liverpool's past 3 years, where you only won one Premier League, and then after that you just kept coming second, and now you're coming back down.
So you're agreeing they're winning it this year?
I think they're going to win it. I don't see anyone else beating them. I hate it as much. And that's why we need to win the Champions League to just ruin their title parade. We do it on the same day they do theirs, and then we even bring Potter back for the title parade.
Okay, I'll just finish off with the kudos and donkeys from some of our commenters, and I will wrap up. It says, I think that's Idris. It says kudos is Daddy Yo. That's Todd Bowley. And donkey is Harry Potter. Okay, Harry Potter is the donkey. Somebody is saying, Asher, no, stay the course. I don't know what that means. We're saying Asher, stay the course. Donkey from Ogakwame says, well, he says every 10 hours old the donkey for this week. He said it was our first
didn't have a good game. Didn't have a good game for sure.
Yeah, because in game management. Yeah, that does happen. Okay, I think it was Idris who was saying Asher should stay the course. And then final comment for today said 4-3-3 or 4-4-5. Daddy Yo realized he messed up. So of course he had to 4-3 or 4-4-5. Daddy Yo. On that note, we are saying goodbye. Thanks for joining and see you guys next week. Cheers.